These are the plaintiffs, Jennifer Arjun Spence and Sean Spence. Jennifer says she hired the defendant to take pictures and video at her wedding. And when she hired him, she thought he was a professional. Professional, my foot. The guy was a hack. He ruined their entire wedding. Now all the memories of their big day are lost forever. They're suing for $5,000 for a refund and pain and suffering. This is the defendant, Mr. Singh. He says the plaintiff was so drunk at her own wedding she doesn't even remember telling him he was done and could leave at the end of the night. He took 1,500 photographs that day, did everything he was asked to do, and feels like this lawsuit is just an attempt to rip him off because they never complained about a thing before he was sued. He's accused of being a wedding wrecker.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff hired the defendant to take pics of their wedding and says it was a fiasco. But the defendant says the plaintiff was so drunk, she doesn't know what went down. He took 1,500 pictures. It's the case of With This Ring, I Thee Sue.
Thank you, Douglas. Jennifer Arjun Spence?
Yes.
You and Sean Spence?
Yes.
Let's not forget the groom. You are suing Mr. Singh and his company. You've asked us not to mention the company name. For $5,000, $1,250 that you paid for your video and photography, and $3,750 to get you to the $5,000 max for pain and suffering. What happened?
On 2010, we hired him for our wedding, and he was supposed to come to my house and take pictures of me and take pictures of my husband. Then go to.
Were you both in the same house?
No.
No.
Oh.
I was with my mother and he was
Right. So he was supposed to go to your house, take pictures of you, and then he was also supposed to go to your husband's house and take pictures of him.
Yes.
Right.
Everything was just so fast. He was trying to rush. Like when the limo came, he just wanted to leave. Like, you know, he had to take pictures of me with the limo.
So did you end up with pictures of you with the limo?
No.
Okay. Why didn't you just tell him to wait?
I did tell him to wait, but he was like, "Oh, I gotta go. That you know, the time is going and all this stuff that was going on."
Were you guys late or no?
No, but not.
Did your wedding start at the time that the guests got that
Yes.
the guests were told
Yeah,
to be there?
everything
What
was
time
on.
were the guests told the wedding was going to begin? Just curious.
Ceremony, I think it was 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
And you started at 7 o'clock?
Started at 7
Oh, you're the
o'clock.
first bride who's ever done that. Okay. All right, so go ahead.
You know, everything was good and stuff like that. You know, he was there. I guess he was taking pictures because I wasn't really paying attention to him. You know, more of jitter and nervous. You know, walking on the aisle and stuff like that. So I wasn't really paying attention to him. What he took out, he didn't even take pictures of, you know, like family portrait or stuff like that. I have 2 family portraits. He was just too busy taking pictures of unnecessary stuff.
Like what? I mean, these are conclusions that you're making. If you want to persuade a judge that you're entitled to 4 times what you paid him back, 3 times what you paid him back, you have to be more specific. Is there something you asked him to do that he didn't do? Or is it that in retrospect, when you're looking at it, there's things you wish you'd asked for? Which is it? Or you're just saying they're so standard that you shouldn't have had to mention it?
Well, I assume it since he was a videographer and he was a photographer, you know, he was professional.
He was doing both?
He was
just
doing
him?
both.
No.
Him and
okay.
Oh, right,
So, you know, so I assume that he knows his job and what he has to do. I don't need, you know, I feel like I didn't need to tell him.
For example, did you ever tell him, these are my 5 closest family members, this is my mother, this is my brother, this is whatever?
Yes, he knew who the
How did he
family
know?
was because we told him.
Okay. Because the clearest you can be in your instructions with whoever you need to give instructions to, the better it is. I mean, that's my advice to every potential bride out there.
Right.
You know, you show them who the people are, and really you designate one person at the wedding to make sure that got done, because your mind should be on enjoying yourself and taking snapshots of your own wedding in your brain. But that is your job, and she's complaining. She says that you didn't take pictures of her family.
Your Honor, I took like 1,100 pictures.
1,100 pictures?
Yes, starting from her.
Are any of them of her family? Because she's saying there's 2 of her family.
No,
What do you mean by your family?
Like my mother, fathers, and sister, brother.
You have 2 pictures of your mother and father?
Yeah, family portrait of me and my husband and my mother, father. That's it.
Of all us together.
Together.
A lot of pictures was like.
Let me see. Is that the photo album?
Yes, it is.
Okay, let me see the photo album. And you have some complaints about the photo album.
Yes.
Which are the things you've already told me, and what else?
A lot of the pictures that are in the photo album are pictures that we didn't choose.
How are you going to prove that? In other words, was this photo album commercially made on the internet on one of those companies?
Everything online, yes.
Prove to me they approved the album. That's what I need to see.
I don't have that.
How do you not have that proof? What's wrong with you? You're in court. You're being sued over that, and you have proof that they approved the album, and you don't bring it. How do you do that?
I don't have email anymore.
So what? You call whatever company you had the email with. Show me your emails, please.
Well, the emails we had, we faxed them in.
Yeah, I have an email, and the email is to you. Lucky for you, they gave evidence in your favor. There's an email to you, Sean. You're Sean, right?
Yes.
There's an email to you asking, okay, whether you approve of the design of the album, and you say, yes, it's good to go, print it.
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
so if you saw the album, why are you complaining now that the pictures you picked aren't in the album?
That's what the problem is. The proof that I approved on the email is not the album.
Okay, now I have to tell you, knowing how these things work, that's impossible.
Right.
Because really, it's all one. If that's the case, you're going to have to prove that.
Right. I understand.
So you understand?
Yes.
Because I guess it's not impossible, but if I send you a link and it's got your wedding album, I would have to manually go in and change all those pictures. I would have to spend another several hours messing up the order you approved for it not to be the order you approved. So I don't know how that could be possible.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when we choose the pictures, because actually me and my husband was picking the pictures up. We going through 1,100 pictures. The picture that we choose is nothing. At the beginning, I choose those pictures, but the one in the back, I never choose none of those. But there's people in the album that I don't even want in my album.
Why was your husband doing the approving of the album?
Well, we both did.
Oh, okay. So why did you approve the album then?
There's another album.
So I'm not asking you. Why did you approve the album then?
I mean, honestly, I was just going through the beginning of the pictures. I didn't, say.
Well, okay, honey, but then whose fault is that? What do you think? I'm gonna return the money for that when you just didn't bother to go through it because it's somehow there was something else more pressing of your time than your wedding album? What were you trying to interrupt me with?
I gave 2 albums to them. One big album, then there's a small replica of the same album. They didn't show it to you.
Do you have it?
No, they have it.
It's the same. It's the same album. Just
same
smaller.
copy of the bigger album.
Smaller.
Okay, so why is that relevant?
Yeah, well, they approved the album. That's why I made 2 albums. I don't want to spend my money on.
Let's talk about the video. According to you, there are moments missing in your video. Tell me about that.
At the end of the video, if you put the video on, you can see for yourself. The video ends like it's a dance floor with people just dancing, and then the video ends. I mean, it goes through its credits and the finishing parts of the.
That's the cutest picture I've ever seen. That one right there. Of course, the subjects are what make it cute. I'm just saying that right there. That is the prettiest wedding about to be kissed picture. You need to blow this one up to really big.
Thank you.
It is. Look at the look in both of your eyes.
Thank you.
Well,
you guys just got married, but my husband and I have been married for 20 years, and I just pulled out our wedding picture. I can't believe how young we were. And we're looking at each other at one moment. I'm like, I can't believe how young we were. I can't believe we looked at each other. I mean, we look at each other that way still. But I'm looking at the way we're looking at each other and the fresh face we're looking at each other with, and my kids are freaking out. How old were you? That's really sweet, too.
And on top of that, he never asked us what pictures that we want to put in front of the album. He went upon himself and chose his own pictures.
But once again, I ask you, there's evidence that he sent you the link and that you approved the design. Your answer cannot just be, oh, well, it was a different design than the one I approved. You'd have to prove that to me.
Well, actually, I brought it to his attention and asked him.
Wait, no, stop. You have to explain how there's an email from Sean that you say you authorized and the two of you went over and sent that says we're good to go print it.
Okay.
I mean, come on, you knew that any sane judge is going to ask you that. Right. So if you have proof that what was printed is different than what was sent to you, then you got to show it to me. Because literally, I've done these albums. I know how this works. Somebody would have to manually go in and turn and take away, or he had to have made 2 albums, which if you're accusing him of being lazy is the last thing he was going to be doing.
Okay. Well,
all right, so talk to me about the video, though, because you have some concerns about the video.
Well, definitely the video. In the video, there's as you're going through the photo album 1, you'll see that there's no pictures of the bouquet being tossed, the garter belt, any of that function.
What time did you guys do that?
Around 12:30 a.m.
And how long did your wedding go?
Up to 1
To
o'clock.
1, right. So now, like I said, when you put the video on,
Yeah, let's put
if
the
you
video
watch
on.
the end of it, you'll see the dance floor dancing,
Right.
and then that cuts to the ending credit.
Okay, let's see it.
And when we asked him, he said, "Oh, I don't know why I left. Oh, you told me to leave."
Right, man, let's slow it down.
Yeah, just
so-
keep it at that pace, actually. That's good, because
Yeah, you're gonna see it skip
like,
to
don't
the
press
ending
play,
credits.
just leave it that way.
We're going through this again. This is-
Yeah, that's the same. That's the same scene.
Oh, it's the same?
Yeah, actually, it just probably ended.
And started
People
over.
still dancing,
Gotcha.
and you didn't see nothing about the garter, the bouquet, or nothing.
Okay.
You see, that's where it stopped.
Did
That
you
was-
video a garter and a bouquet?
No, you know.
Okay. Tell me the circumstances surrounding your departure from the wedding.
Well, at the end, almost at the end of the wedding, the reception, I mean, I asked her if I can leave because my time is up. And she said, yeah. Oh, I said, if you have any more formality to do. She said, no.
Any more what?
Any formalities?
Formalities?
Yes.
Any
Like
other
bouquet or
ceremonies?
anything.
Okay.
And she said, no, we are okay. Nothing else. You can leave now. And she told her cousin to give me the money, like the second installment. And she paid me $400.
Okay. Who paid him?
The best man paid.
Why did the person in charge pay him if he wasn't supposed to leave? I mean, aren't you worried that once you pay the guy, he'll leave? Like, I don't know.
So are brides and grooms too fussy when it comes to weddings?
Absolutely. Sometimes the best things are those things that are unprepared. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I've never quite heard it put that way, but that's just a spontaneous wedding.
Spontaneous.
Love it. Okay, what do you think?
Yes, I think so.
Who got married here? Who's been married? Anybody? Okay, when it wasn't exactly perfect, did you stress?
No, I personally did not. I think those are the most memorable moments, things that aren't.
Things that get screwed up.
Absolutely.
Love it. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
Well, he paid him, and then nobody told him to leave because he's saying it's his cousin. It wasn't his cousin. That was the best man. That was one of my good friends. Now it's not his cousin.
Was it a guy or a woman who told you to leave?
I don't remember, but somebody paid me. Not her, but one of her relative paid me.
Your Honor, how do you not remember who paid you?
Because he has 100 weddings, and you're not that important to him. I mean, that's this is a business.
Right,
I mean, I know it's sentimental to you. Your testimony is that when you asked her, had she been drinking? Was her wedding?
She was already drunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your testimony is you came up to her, and then he asked you, were you there?
No.
I was not there.
Okay. Who are you? Why are you here?
Moral support.
Moral support. All right. Is he
Good luck.
standing like, Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, if I'm re-signing a contract and I paid you up to
Well, you're right. You paid him up to what
Up to
time? Let me
1
see the
o'clock.
contract.
1 o'clock, why would I tell you to leave?
Right.
And I wasn't in charge.
Let me see that. Does the contract say 1 o'clock?
Yes.
If the contract says 1 o'clock, why did you leave at 12?
No, I left 12:30 because.
Why did you leave at 12:30 if the contract says 1 o'clock?
When we signed the agreement, I was supposed to go to her house, but then she said, "Can you go to groom's house?" And I went to groom's house earlier. And then I did her photo
So,
shoot.
okay, 5:30 at the house. Then that's what the arrow says. 5:30 at the house, and then you circle 4:30.
Yeah, so it's 1 hour early.
So what you're telling me is that she asked you to show up an hour earlier at her
Yes.
house, and so you took the hour from the end time.
No, half hour from the end time.
You only took a half hour, but it was an hour earlier.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, respond to that.
Why wasn't I been told that? I
Well,
wasn't told
but
that.
you
And
know if he was
supposed
there
to
at 4:30?
But he was supposed to be at my house at 5:30 as he circled 5:30 to take pictures of me before I get to the reception hall.
Okay, he's testifying, and it's on your contract.
Right.
That you change the time to 4:30. That's on your contract.
Him coming to the house at 4:30. Honestly, that wasn't a part of the contract. I mean,
How is the guy showing up an hour earlier not part of the contract?
Because when we went to his office and was talking to him about it, and we said, okay, would you be able to come earlier to take us
For free.
change? Well, I mean, I guess included into
For
the
free.
package. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
the extra hour for free.
Added
It shouldn't
in.
come
Right.
at the end. The guy,
This is what we asked him. He said, sure, no problem. He didn't say that he was going to leave early because he's coming early. That wasn't the arrangement.
Here's a problem that I'm having. I understand that you're angry that you don't have the garter belt and the bouquet toss. I also understand that it was 12 o'clock or 12:30 when he left. According to him, it's 12:30 when he left. According to you, it's 12. Okay? So if you're confident about when he left, I don't know why you're not stopping him and saying, wait, we'll do the garter belt right now. We'll do the break. So, and then he's saying, well, no, they let me leave. They paid me to leave. And we know you did pay him. All right. And then, but you're confident you know what time he's leaving. it's not making sense. And it's also not making sense to wait until past midnight, minutes before the thing is over for something that's ceremonial, and then asking somebody to work an hour for free, and then telling me that an album that you approved, that I clearly have your approval for, somehow he pulled a switcheroo on. The things you were saying do not make sense. And I'm not going to order him to not only return the $1,250 you paid him, but add to that 3 times that for a bonus of $5,000. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Thank you.
Hold side, hold on.
So the newlyweds don't win their case because the judge says your story just doesn't quite hang together. What's your reaction to coming out on the losing end here?
Actually, it's unfair. He just scam artists. You know, you don't run a business like that.
He knows he's wrong. Because when we went to see him, he even offered to give us money back because of the video being short.
You two still look at each other that way, like in that picture, even though you lost this case?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right, right down there. Okay, head right down around the corner. Good luck. All right, so step in here. What's your feeling on this?
Well, I always love this judge. I've been watching this show for last 4 or 5 years, and I'm happy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that some of the pictures you sent them in that album were different than what they approved?
No, we always print the last version, customer approve.
Customer approved?
Yeah.
All right, you love the judge. So next time you get sued, you'll come right back in here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, Harvey?
You know, when you get married, if you want to avoid problems like this, write down as much specificity as you can in the contract with the photographer or the person who's doing the food and whatnot. The more specific you are, the fewer problems you're going to have. That's going to do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.